Okay, this is part 18 of Champion. June. Last night feels like a dream, every last detail of it, but this morning stands in stark contrast. There is no mistaking the flinch I felt from Day when I touched his arm, the violent shudder that went through him at just the brush of my hand. My heart still hurts as I leave my apartment, headed for a parked jeep that will be waiting for me. A morning spent with the Senate. I try in vain to clear Day from my mind, but it's impossible. A Senate meeting feels so trivial right now. The colonies are gradually pushing our country back with the help of strong allies. Antarctica still refuses to help us, and Commander Jameson is at large. And here I'll sit talking politics when I should be, out in the field doing what I'm trained to do. What am I going to say to all of them anyway? Are any of them even going to listen? What are we going to do? No, I need to focus. I need to support Andon as he attempts yet again to negotiate with the colony's chancellor and CEOs and generals. We both know that it won't get us anywhere. The only thing that will make them budge is a cure, and even then it might not be enough to hold the colonies back. But still, we have to try, and perhaps he'll be up for helping the Patriots with their plans, especially if he knows how much Day will be involved in them. The mere thought of Day brings back memories of last night. My cheeks burn hot, and I know it's not because of the warm Los Angeles weather. Stupid timing. I tried myself and pushed last night for my thoughts. All around me, the usually busy streets of Lake are eerily empty, as if we're preparing for an oncoming storm. I suppose that's not so inaccurate. A prickling sensation suddenly travels up my spine. I stop for a moment, then frown. What was that? The streets still look deserted, but a strange premonition makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Someone is watching me. Immediately, the idea feels too far-fetched, but as I walk, I tighten my jaw and let my hand rest on my gun. Maybe I'm being ridiculous. Perhaps the warning that Day had given me, that the colonies might use me against him, or that they might have me in their sights, is starting to play tricks on my mind. Still, no reason to throw caution to the winds. I lean against the closest building so that my back is protected and call Andon. The sooner this jeep arrives, the better. And then I see her. I stop the call. She wears a good disguise, weathered Republic attire that's supposed to be worn only by first-year soldiers, which means she looks unremarkable and easily missed. A soldier's cap pulled low over her face, with only a few dark red strands poking out from underneath it. But even at this distance, I recognize her face, cold and hard. Commander Jameson. I look casually away and pretend to dig around in my pockets for something, but inside my heart pounds at a furious pace. She's here in Los Angeles, which means she somehow managed to escape the fighting in Denver and avoided the Republic's clutches. Is it too big a coincidence that she is where I am? Perhaps she is here because she knew that I would be here. The colonies. There must be other eyes here. My hands shake as she passes me by on the other side of the street. She gives no indication of seeing me, but I know that she's noticed. On such an empty block, I should be impossible to miss, and I'm not in disguise. When her back is finally turned to me, I cross my arms, tilt my head slightly downward, and call Andon on my earpiece again. I see her. She's here. Commander Jameson is in Los Angeles. My voice sounds so quiet and muffled and mumbled that Andon has trouble making it out. You see her? He asks in disbelief. She's on the same block as you? Yes, I whisper. I'm careful to keep an eye on Commander Jameson's disappearing figure. She might be here intentionally looking for where my jeep will take me, or perhaps trying to locate you. As she pulls farther away, an overwhelming desire rises up in me to tag along. For the first time in a long time, my agent skills are calling out to me. Gone are politics. Suddenly, I've been thrust back in the field. When she turns a corner, I immediately abandon my spot and start heading after her. Where's she going? She's at Lake in Colorado, I whisper urgently to Andon. Turning north. Get some soldiers out here. But don't let her know you're following along. I want to see where she's going. Before Andon can say anything else, I end the call. I trail along the side of the buildings, careful to stay in the shadows as much as I can, and take a shortcut through one alley toward the street where I think Commander Jameson has gone. Instead of peering around the corner and potentially giving myself away, I instead huddle in the alley and calculate how much time has passed. If she kept up the same pace and she stayed on the street, then she should have walked past this alley at least 1 minute ago. Carefully, I lean out until I can catch a quick glimpse of the street. Sure enough, she's already walked past me, and I can see the back of her figure hurrying away. This quick glimpse is also enough to tell me something else. She's talking into her own mic. I wish Day were here with me. He'd know instantly the best way to travel unseen through these streets. For a second I contemplate calling him, but for him to get here in time would be too much of a stretch. Instead, I follow Commander Jameson. I tail her for a good 4 blocks until we enter a strip of ruby that borders part of Balta, where 2 or 3 pyramid airship bases sit along the street. She makes a turn again. I hurry to turn with her, but by the time I look down the street, she's gone. Perhaps she knew someone was following her. After all, Commander Jameson is much more experienced in this sort of tracking than I am. I look to the roofs. Andon's voice crackles in my earpiece. We lost her, he confirms. I put a silent alert to the troops to search for her and report immediately back. She shouldn't have gone far. That's true, I agree, but my shoulders sag. She disappeared without a trace. Who had she been talking to on her mic? My eyes scan the street, trying to figure out what she must have come here for. Maybe she's scouting. The thought unnerves me. I'm heading back, I finally whisper into my own mic. If my suspicions are correct, then we might have a whoosh of air, a blinding spark, something explodes before my eyes. I flinch and throw myself instinctively to the ground behind a nearby trash bin. What was that? A bullet. I look to the wall where it hit. A small chunk of brick is missing. Someone tried to shoot me. My sudden turn to go back the way I came must have been the only thing that saved my life. I start placing another frantic call to Andon. Blood rushes through my ears like a tidal wave of noise, blocking out logic and allowing the panic in. Another bullet sparks against the metal of the trash bin. There's no question now that I'm under attack. I click the call off. Where's Commander Jameson shooting from? Are there others with her? Colony's troops? Republic soldiers turned traitorous? I don't know. I can't tell. I can't hear and I can't see. Through my rising panic, Midas's voice materializes. Stay calm, Junebug. Logic will save you. Focus. Think. Act. I close my eyes, taking a deep, shuddering breath, and allow myself a second to still my mind, to concentrate on my brother's voice. This is no time to fall apart. I have never let emotions get the best of me, and I'm not about to start now. Think, June. Don't be stupid. After over a year of trauma, after months and months of political bargaining, after days of war and death, I am starting to suspect everything and everyone. This is how the colonies could tear us apart, not with their allies or weapons, but with their propaganda, with fear and desperation. My panic clears. Logic sweeps back in. First, I yank my own gun out of its holster. Then, I make an exaggerated gesture like I'm about to dart out from behind the trash bin. Instead, I stay put, but my feint is enough to provoke another bullet. Spark. It ricochets off the brick wall that my back is pressed up against. Instantly, I glance at the mark it leaves and pinpoint where it might have come from. Not from the roofs. The angle isn't wide enough. 4, maybe 5 floors up. Not the building directly across from me, but the one right next to it. I look over to the windows lining those floors. Several are open. At first I want to aim right back at those windows, but then I remind myself that I might hit someone unintentionally. Instead, I study the building. It looks like either a broadcast station or a military hall. It's close enough to the air bases that I wonder whether it's where the airships are being monitored from. What is she up to that involves the air bases? All the colony is planning a surprise attack here. I click my mic back on. Andon, I whisper after I input his code. Get me out of here. Use my gun's tracking. But my call has no time to go through. A split second later, another bullet cracks right above my head. This time I flinch and flatten myself underneath the trash bin. When I open my eyes, I find myself staring straight into the cold eyes of Commander Jameson. She grabs for my wrist. I bolt out from under the trash bin before she can reach me. I twist around to aim my gun at her, but she's already darted away, her own gun's raised. Right away, I can tell that she's not aiming to kill. Why? The question runs through my mind at lightning speed. Because the colonies need me alive, because they need me to bargain with. She fires. I roll to the ground. A bullet misses my leg by inches. I hop onto my feet and aim at her again. This time, I fire. I miss her by a hair. She ducks behind the trash bin. At the same time, I try to put a call through again. I succeed. Andon, I gasp into the mic as I turn tail and run. Get me out! Already on our way, Andon replies. I sprint around a corner right as I hear another shot fired behind me. It's the last one. Right on schedule, a jeep races toward me and screeches to a halt several feet away from me. A pair of soldiers pours out, shielding me, while 2 others run out to the street toward Commander Jameson. I already know it's too late to catch her, though. She must have made a run for it, too. It's all over as quickly as it began. I hop into the jeep with the soldiers' help, then collapse against the seat as we speed away. Adrenaline washes through me. My entire body trembles uncontrollably. "Are you all right?" one of the soldiers asks, but his voice sounds far away. All I can think about is what the encounter meant. Commander Jameson had known I would wait at that block for my jeep. She must have lured me out in an attempt to capture me. Her presence at the airship bases was no coincidence. She's feeding information to the colonies about our rotations and locations here. There are probably other colony soldiers hiding amongst us too. Commander Jameson is a wanted fugitive. She can't move around this easily without help, and with her experience she could probably hold off a manhunt for her on these streets long enough for the colonies to arrive. They've targeted their next city and it's going to be us. Over my earpiece, Andon's voice comes on again. "I'm on my way," he says urgently. "Are you all right? The jeep will take you straight to Balta Hall, and I'll have a full guard on you." "She's feeding them information about the ports," I breathe into the mic before he can finish. My voice shakes as I say it. "The colonies are about to attack Los Angeles."